Good afternoon, everyone. So I've been sitting down here and listening to everyone else, and I figured it's a hard act to follow when people with strong stories come to talk about their stories, and you have to share a story too. It's hard to know where to start. My entire life is a beautiful story. The fact that I'm here is a beautiful story. I was born in Nigeria on an island called Lagos. And you've probably seen a lot of my people in Nollywood. You've seen my city. My city is like all of your country if we put our people together. We're so many. But that's why you have to be the way that we are. Because when there's many, there's a need for you to stand out. And so you need to do more. Do you understand where I'm going? Yeah. How many of you have a pen here today? If you came with something that looks like this, I would like to see it. If you don't have a pen, let me see your hand. If you're here today and you don't have something to write with. So everybody has a pen. Do you know why it's important that you have one of these? Because with this, you can make history. People have stood here today to tell you about promise and about success and about making a difference. See, there was a time when we could not write our stories. We could not put our names down. You couldn't tell somebody who your father or your grandfather was or what important things they did. But today you have no excuse. There are pens everywhere and they're not that expensive. So what's your job? Your job is to make sure that the story that is written about you is a story that lifts up your people. My job is to make sure that when people talk about me, you want to find out where I've come from. You want to know who raised me and how I got here. Cindio?
Yes.
Okay. So I was born in Lagos. And when I was born, people did not do things the way they do things now. You can just marry someone from another tribe and decide to go start a life by yourself. My parents were from two different tribes. And there were tribes in Nigeria that don't marry each other. So when you're a child of two warring tribes, you have to become a peacemaker. So I became a peacemaker. And by making peace between two families, I learned how to make peace between communities. I learned how to live at peace with everyone that I met. I learned the value of brotherhood. I knew that I was not going to be just a Niger girl. There was more to me. Lagos was not enough. Nigeria was not enough. So I need to ask you today, what is not enough for you? You have to decide when something is not enough. I heard Thomas say that they had not had anyone go to high school. So they had to ask advice. But you see, Thomas had to decide that it was not enough for him to not go to school. So you have to make your own decision. My grandfather was a very important man in Nigeria. I wish I had the kind of story to tell you that I'm a victim and I got up some way that was weird. But no, it's just determination. The fact that you are born rich is not a guarantee that you will be successful. There are many children whose parents had more than enough money to educate all of you, and they have no education today. It's a choice. I am a third generation teacher on both sides. My people have always taught. My mother is a professor of finance. She was vice president of an American university, an African woman. So when you put someone like me on the stage at MIT or at Harvard, I have not come alone. I have come with all these amazing people who gave birth to me. I've come with the legacy of all those people. You are not sitting here by yourself. You hear a baby crying and we all try to talk over the voice of the baby. But what you're forgetting is that we all started that way. Before we had a voice to be clear like this, somebody was your voice. Somebody took care of you. So what you're doing today is helping that person to not feel bad for taking care of you. You want them to look at you and say, God, thank you for giving me this child. Thank you for giving me the grace to look after them because I can see what this child is becoming. So today I am not talking to your parents. I'm not talking to the visitors and the speakers who have come today. I'm talking to you. because you're the most important person here. There will come a time in your life where there's nobody to discipline you. Nobody will say, wake up now, eat now, go to bed now. It'll be just you. So you have to decide now whether you want to make an excuse or you want to make your way to excellence. And excellence is not easy. Excuses are easy. We can start from the Bible. When Adam fell and God asked him, boy, what happened? What did he say? It's the woman that she gave me. That's an excuse. But what is the opposite of excuses? Excellence. Thank you. You have to decide inside of yourself to be excellent at what you do. If all you know how to do is write A, B, C, D, write the best A, B, C, D in the world. Write it such that when you write A, B, they'll call somebody from abroad to come and look at how you write your C before you get to the D. The world does not want people who have nothing to offer. You have to have something to offer. And not just something. You have to have something extraordinary. And I'm saying this with all respect and all humility. Africa, we need to wake up. And don't look at your parents or at the Wazés. It is not their work. It is our work. What did I say? I can't hear you. Whose work is it? You don't sound like you understand what I'm saying. Whose work is this? Who's going to fix this country? Who's going to fix Africa, the continent? Who's going to fix the world? If we don't start saying that to ourselves today, we won't fix it. So what part of this are you fixing? I always knew I was not going to be just a regular Nigerian girl. Today, my children are Kenyan. But when they describe themselves, they're children of the world. Because my grandmother was Togolese. So when I start counting, I count all those countries, and I count all the way to here. And who knows where they're going to go in future. But the most important thing is that they know what they carry on the inside. I need you to know what you carry. Don't expect that life will be easy. Not everyone will find a Mzungu who will pay their fees. Sometimes you have to work hard. I was born into a very rich family. But at some point, something happened. See, in my country, when governments change, lives change too. And so when governments changed and my father's life changed, everything changed. And I went from someone who had everything she wanted to a child who had nothing. And I went to live with my grandmother in the slum. And that's why today, I have family in Kibera. I walk into Kibera, I eat my meals there. I have friends. I have people who would protect my life in Kibera. Because I've learned that wherever you are, you'll find your people there. With an open heart, with a willingness to do good, you'll find your people there. So wherever you go, and each one of you, I am looking at you as ambassadors. Not just ambassadors for this, our beautiful country, Kenya. Not just ambassadors for this beautiful continent that we call Africa, but ambassadors for your families, for the women and the men who have raised you, for those people who suffered so that you'll be here. Ambassadors for your future, for the children that you will give birth to, because guess what? They'll do much more than you're doing now. They'll be much better. They'll go much higher. So you have to know all those things. What you carry is your past and your future. Are you carrying it well? Is someone forcing you to study? Or are you studying because you're waiting for the scores? It's not the scores, you know. When he was saying that you compete with yourself and cooperate with those who are better, it's learning. It's knowing where you stop and where you need help. Where you need someone to help you go that extra mile. Or where you're helping somebody go that extra mile. Because you don't gain if you don't give. So even in learning, if you help someone, you continue to help yourself. If you teach someone, you have reminded yourself. Do you understand where I'm going? Learn to live together. We make more progress when we cooperate with one another. When I came into your country, I didn't know anyone. My husband had lived outside Kenya for over 20 years. One day, I looked at my children and I decided it was time to come home. I didn't want to raise just Americans. I wanted people who knew the value of what they carried. I knew that if I brought them here and they grew up with their shosho, they would hear their family history, and they would grow roots, and they would understand that they have a job here in this land to make this place better. See all those places where you want to go? I went to school there. I went to MIT, I went to Harvard, but guess what? Somebody built those places. Who's building for us here? Can we start thinking about building? Can we start thinking about the kind of greatness that puts Harvard and MIT there? And let us build the Harvards and the MITs of Africa. So that when we want to go to school, to good schools, we look inwards, we look at ourselves. Because guess what? There's a lot that you can learn here that you can't learn there. And out there, they need to learn more about us. And they're not going to learn about us if you don't go. And you won't go if you don't work hard enough to go. I'll leave you with a small example. The year that I graduated my Harvard degree, I was already married with children. And people thought it was unwise to do all those things together. But I did not want to give up my family, and I did not want to give up that education that I'd worked so hard to get. So I sat down after my first semester. By the way, I was pregnant with twins at this point. And I went through the entire timetable for the whole of Harvard University. Not just my school, but the other schools. And I picked the courses that would help me get my degree the way I wanted and get it quick enough so that I didn't have to come back the next year. I didn't have to give up 1 year to have a baby. And so, my people, I would sit there. Some of my classes were all day. I'd be at school from 7 in the morning and I'd close at 8 p.m. after my seminars were done. It was hard. Rain, sun, snow, I was there. And when it was time to have my babies, I went into labor the day before my calculus exam. And I sat with my pen and my paper and I worked calculus until morning. And I told my husband, go to work. I drove myself, I went to school, I sat down and I wrote that exam. At the back of my exam sheet, I had the time of my contractions so that I would know when to get up and run to the hospital. I finished my paper, I submitted, I went into my car, I drove to the hospital, and a few hours later, I was delivered of twin girls, beautiful girls, Warimo and Wamboy. Those women are 4 years old today. They'll be 4 in August. And they're as vocal as me because they are raised to be like this, to know who they are, to understand that I sacrificed a lot to be who I am and to bring them forth in the way that they are. So that when it's their turn to go to Harvard, it won't just be that they have the scores and the grades to go. It will also be that they have the spirit. That spirit of excellence, that thing that says, not enough. This is not enough for me. I will do more. When you see the word impossible written, take out the I am in front and say to yourself, I am possible. And because I am possible, everything that I aim to do is possible to me. Find a way to get there. Make no excuses. Failure is a gathering of excuses. The Bible calls it the fool saying there's a lion in the streets. So he doesn't go out because of that. There are people who go out and scare the lion away. There are those who go out and kill the lion. There are those who come out of their doors and the lion sees them and the lion starts to run because he knows what they carry. What is the lion that's facing you today? What do you think you can't get over? What's that hurdle that's so big? I'm telling you today that it is possible for you to get over it. You can get where you want to get. You can decide, this is not enough for me. I need a bigger playground. I need a bigger playing field. I want to be on a global stage. I don't want to just get beyond Affecto and finish it there. Where are you going after now? When I see you in 5 years, in 10 years, what are you going to tell me? Because I will remember. See, I remember people's faces. And if you tell me your name, I will never forget. And if I see you in 10 years' time, I will ask you, what have you done with that which we gave you? This beautiful gift that you've got, what did you do with it? So be prepared with an answer for me. And I won't take excuses. I don't take excuses from anyone. I did not make excuses. Life has never been easy. If anyone tells you that it's easy, they're lying. So be prepared to fight this battle and win it. Ladies, are you here? You're all very quiet. You can't be quiet. This generation is not made for quiet women. Look at Natalie One Boy. She's not quiet. Is she quiet? No. This is the generation of voiced wishes, desires, plans, concepts, ideas. What do you want for your people? I came to Kikuyu through a back road and I saw all those potholes. And I said, where is our MP here? Where are the leaders here? Where are the young people here? Do you like the way your roads look? So which one of you is going to get up and be the leader who is going to fix that? You can't fix that if you're illiterate. You can't fix the problems of Africa if you're not successful yourself. So we need you to be successful so that the work that we are doing in the generation ahead of you will not be in vain. Do you understand? So even though I went to Harvard, even though I went to MIT, even though I've done all these amazing things that I've done, nothing I have done compares to what I am doing now. This is the most important place I could be today. Trust me, I had so many other things to do today. But I came because somebody here will hear my voice and will understand that I've walked a long road to stand here and talk to you today. And you will make it worth my while so that I will not regret coming here. It's not been easy. Even with all the education that I have, it's not been easy. And education does not guarantee you success. So even after you've done the MIT and the Harvard, you still have to do the real life work. I'm a farmer. I farm in Kinangop. When I came home with your Kenyan brother, hey, I met a big shamba. And I thought to myself, if his mother was my mother, and she had grown older, and she couldn't do all this work by herself, would I not do what she's supposed to do? Wouldn't I do it for my mom? Wouldn't I do it? Wouldn't I expect my daughter-in-law to do that for me? So I go there and I sleep on that shamba and I do the work and I plant with my hands. These same hands that wrote at Harvard and MIT. And I still teach classes. I teach at Strathmore. You will find me in different places speaking. But my reality, my real life, is that story of the girl that has gone from Harvard to harvest. Because until those warus hit me, until I begin to eat in my house the warus that I planted on the farm, I have not succeeded. So now that I have eaten that first harvest, I can say to you, your country is beautiful. The land is rich and fertile. The skies are friendly. The people are warm. What is your excuse? Money? Money is not a problem. When you have the spirit of excellence, money will show up for you. People will stand up for you. But you have to do your part first. So promise me, my friends from Affecto, promise me that it is not in vain that I am standing here today. Promise me that you will make this count. When I looked at your logo, how many of you realize what this is? What is this red part? Let me turn it so those of you who are on the side can see it. What is that red part here? What is this? Thank you. Who said that? Please give him a round of applause. And what is this? So even your logo tells a story. Learn, my people. The equations, the answers have already been given to us. It's not rocket science anymore. People have done this ahead of you. You can look at African girls who have gone to these schools and they talk to you and they're normal people. So you can do it too. Do you understand me? Are we going to do this? Are you going to make it worth my while that I'm standing here today? Are you going to tell yourself it's not about money? It's about telling yourself when it's not enough. When your father's house becomes too small for you, you grow. When your father's country becomes too small a constituency for you, you grow. So where are you going to? So make up your mind today. Take that pen that you came with. You promised me that you came with a pen. And take the piece of paper in front of you and write. So write. Each one of you, write. Write. You will write in bracket 5 years. Then you will leave one line and write in another bracket 10 years. Here. Okay. Beside 5 years, write by yourself what you want to do. 5 years from today, if you meet Funke Michaels, I'll give you my email. Send me an email. This is what I've done. I do it with people who have helped me get here. Once in a while, when I find their emails or their addresses, I send them a message. This is where I am. I am in Nairobi. I am doing this, this, this. I graduated with honors. I was class valedictorian. This is what I have done so far. You tell me now, what are you going to do in 5 years? Where will you be? What's your vision? What is that thing that is not enough right now that you're going to grow in the next 5 years? And in the next line, what in 10 years are you going to give back? It's not just about you. And you don't have to be 40 years old to start giving back. You can start giving back by teaching the younger people in your boma. You can start giving back by giving your books to someone who doesn't have when you're done with them. When I meet you in 10 years' time, what will you have done? What stories will we be sharing? And they won't be the kind of stories that make me cry. They'll be the ones that make me proud and make me smile and make me hug you and bless the Lord for you. Sindio. And when you're done writing those things, you'll give them to my brother Nyoro. Because he will be held accountable for you. I know you don't understand what that means, but that's the truth about life. The good that he does, he'll be held accountable for it. So give him that, so that when I find you in another 5, 10 years, we can celebrate together and be thankful for all the lives that have come together to make us success stories. God bless you all.